In alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Inshallah, we're going to go ahead and get started on our class for today. And this is our Aqidah or our Tawheed class. And we are discussing the lawful and the unlawful things in Islam. And this is a very important topic because unfortunately most Muslims unfortunately do not understand what the lawful and the unlawful things are. In fact, many Muslims believe that if something is fun, that it's haram. And this is sad that we've become an innovative people, that if something is good, instead of us understanding that everything that's good is lawful, we think that if it's good, it's haram. Can everyone relate to what I'm saying? You share good news with someone, or you tell people of something good happening, and instead of them saying, oh, mashallah, they say, oh, is it lawful? Is it haram? This is one of the signs of the last hour. You know, the good will appear to be dirty. The dirty will appear to be good. And we need to check ourselves with this. You know, just like, for example, yesterday when I shared the good news of what we have planned this weekend, the first thing that somebody says is it haram? Astaghfirullah. Having fun is not haram. Being happy is not haram. A lot of Muslims think that unless you're depressed, it's not lawful. Astaghfirullah. We need to fear Allah and get it together as Muslims today. We are definitely living in the last days, the days of fitna, the days of trials, the days of tribulations, because we have made Islam something strange. We have made Islam something ugly, and Allah hates ugliness. You know, so we need to really work on ourselves and stop being so ignorant of this religion. Stop asking if something is haram because it's something good. Most things in life are lawful. Do you guys understand that? And this is what the whole point in me teaching this series is, for you to understand that most things in life are lawful. There's not that many things that are haram. And I hope you guys would see that. But then again, the people that ask those questions are people that are not regular students here anyway. So what do you expect? You know, you have to educate yourself about Islam. You have to seek knowledge of the religion and stop sitting around thinking you understand this deen when you don't. You're a numbskull. Allah hates numbskulls. A numbskull is an ignorant, uneducated person. Allah doesn't like ignorance. He doesn't like ugliness. He doesn't like none of that. Okay. Okay. And yesterday we spoke about how in Islam, our communities and our societies are supposed to be based on respect, based on the sanctity of life, of honor and property, because what unites us and what brings us together and what sanctifies those things are the fact that we testify to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. And with that said, let me put on the screen a quiz I have from yesterday's lecture. It's only a few questions here. We talked about punishment, how Allah defines certain punishments for certain offenses in Islam. And let's look at the first question here. We talked about how there are three instances in which Allah gives the death penalty. What are the three instances in which the death penalty is implemented in our societies? Again, what are the 3 instances in which the death penalty is implemented in our societies? And again, it has to be in a Muslim society. You can't go around taking the law into your hands in a non-Muslim society. And even in a Muslim society, you have to go through the due process of law. But what are the 3 instances in which Allah commands the death penalty? Who can answer that question? And people on Facebook, I really hope you guys are sharing my live session on your timeline, so the other Muslims who are logged on can learn and benefit and join and benefit. What are the 3 instances in which Allah commands the death penalty? Okay, let's see what answers we have. Sister Laylee said for unjust murder, adultery, and apostasy. Fatima Qayyum said killing someone unjustly, publicly committing sexual acts. What sexual acts? Is the death penalty for fornication, guys? Does fornication bring the death penalty? Okay, so Sister Fatima Qayyum, you're going to have to be more specific. What sexual actions? Okay, and let me look and see what answers we have here on the Zoom room. Okay, let's see. Isra said unjustified murder. The same thing, publicly committing what type of zina, Isra? Does fornication bring the death penalty? What about homosexual? There's so many different, you have to be specific, guys. There's different categories of zina. Zina is an Arabic word that means illegal sexual relations. So you're gonna have to not play the Arabic game and instead play the English game. Give me your answer, because zina just means unlawful sexual intercourse. What type of unlawful sexual intercourse brings about the death penalty? Okay, Sister Meleon, she said murder. What kind of murder? There's different types of murder. There's voluntary murder. There's involuntary murder. Again, you guys are gonna have to be specific. Same thing with you, Shadi. You guys should know better. You have to be specific in your answers. There's different types of murder. Same thing, Meleon. What type of murder? AY. She said unjustified murder. That's voluntary. Unjustified murder is what we call here in America voluntary murder, voluntary manslaughter. That means you deliberately, intentionally killed someone. Accidental murder doesn't bring the death penalty. So that's why you guys are going to have to be specific. So unjustified murder, okay. She said, Allah says there's life for you. Okay, then she said adultery. Exactly. There's different types of sexual relations. Adultery is to have sexual relations with someone and you are married. That's what brings the death penalty. For those of you who don't know, fornication does not bring the death penalty. Fornication brings lashes, 80 lashes. So this is why you guys are going to have to be specific. Adultery brings death. But as she stated, the person must have 4 witnesses that can testify in court that they actually saw it. And the third offense that brings the death penalty is apostasy. This is a person who, after becoming Muslim, apostates. That means they leave Islam and go to another religion. How many of you know Muslims who are now Christians? That's an apostate. Does everybody understand? Okay, so good job, Sister Awa. Let me copy her answer. At least she was specific. She broke it down. You guys are gonna have to break your answers down and be specific. Otherwise, you'll give the wrong information to people. You'll make people think that because a person fornicated, that brings about the death. No, it doesn't. Fornication is not the same as being married and having relations. Okay, just like involuntary murder is not the same as voluntary. I can accidentally run you over with my car. It wasn't my intention to kill you. You were crossing the street. I lost control of my car. I hit you and killed you. That's not voluntary murder. That's not unjust murder. It was an accident, and that doesn't bring the death penalty. And for those of you who don't know, when it comes to accidental murder, it's blood money. Does everybody understand that? They don't kill you for accidental murder. If I hit somebody with my car and that person dies as an accident, I have to pay the blood money for that. But they're not going to kill me for that. I have to pay the blood money. Does everybody understand? So that's why you have to be specific. Okay, so those are the three offenses: intentional murder, adultery, which is having relations and you are married, and apostasy. Those are the three things that Allah issued the death penalty for. The reason why he doesn't mention many other crimes is because he left it open for the judges of our times to decide what punishments they want. But these are horrific sins. The sins that Allah does issue punishment for, that should tell you that they must be pretty bad, because he didn't leave it open for us. Just like drinking alcohol, he didn't leave a sentence for that. He left that for us to decide what the punishment for drinking alcohol would be, what the punishment would be for taking intoxicants. Okay. All right, let's look at the next question. Let's look at question number 2. In murder, the culprit is turned over to the family. And what can the family decide to do? In the case of murder, the culprit or the person that committed the act is turned over to the family of his or her victim. And what does the family do? If you were living in an Islamic state and you were convicted of voluntary murder, voluntary manslaughter, the judge would find you guilty, and then he turn you over to the family of the victim. Why? Why does he turn you over to the family of the victim? Why? Why would he turn me over to the family of the victim? Anybody know? Brother Tarek said, so they can decide to choose one of the three, either a life for a life, blood money, or they can choose to forgive. Exactly. And he used the verse of the Quran where Allah says, and whoever is killed wrongfully, we have given authority to their heirs, but let him not go to excess in killing by way of retaliation. In other words, whatever you decide, if the judge finds you guilty of killing someone, of manslaughter, and he turns you over to the family, if the family decides, I want the blood money instead of taking his life, then once you make that decision, you can't go back on it. You can't take the blood money and then say, I'm going to kill him too. Does everybody understand what that means? That's what that verse means. You can't just change. Once you make your decision, you can't go back and change it, and take both. Or if a person chooses to forgive, if you choose to forgive, you can't change your mind and say, well, I want the money now. Does everybody get that? You can't say, okay, I'm going to let him go. I'm going to forgive him for killing my son. I don't want no money and I don't want nothing. But then a month later, I want to kill him because you can't deal with your anger. No, that's what that verse means. Does everybody understand that? Because a lot of people were doing that back in the prophet's day. They would take the blood money and then get angry and go after the man and kill him again, or try to kill him. Or they would choose to forgive and let it go, but then get angry when they missed their relative and then try to kill them. You can't do that. Or say, I want money now. I want money now. No, you already said that you was going to forgive me. Now you can't come back now a year later talking about you broke, you got bills to pay, and you want my money. That was what they were doing back in those days. That's why Allah sent those verses down. You don't come back a year later because you're going through a financial hardship and now you want blood money. Everybody understand? Okay, so understand that. Good job on that answer. Let me put that answer up there. So, and even today that happens. I was talking one day to my sister. My sister lives in the United Arab Emirates, and she said that there was a case in her country whereas somebody committed murder and the family chose to forgive him, and everybody thought it was crazy that the family chose to forgive him because they knew that what would happen. 6 months later, the person that killed the person ended up was found dead. And it was a big thing because everybody knew that somebody in the family did it. And that's when they said, well, why did you choose to forgive? So it still happens today. Okay. And that's called Qisas. Good job, Sister Layli. Let's see. Good job, Sister Fatima Qayyum. That's called Qisas. As Muslims, we believe in Qisas. We don't believe in that turn the other cheek. Don't mix Christianity up with Islam. Forgiveness is nice if you can do it, but it's kind of hard to forgive somebody for taking your son or your daughter from you. It's kind of hard to forgive somebody for taking your breadwinner. And that's why Allah knows that. And that's why Allah said, you could do either or. Okay? Allah knows his creation better than we know ourselves. And that's why he makes the laws. Okay, let's look at question number 3. Big question here that's even to this day, many uneducated Muslims argue about. Is suicide a sin that Allah will forgive? Why or why not? Give me your evidence and explain why or why not. Is suicide a sin that Allah will forgive? Why or why not? Give me your evidence. Is suicide a sin that Allah will forgive? Why or why not? And give your evidence. Is it a sin that Allah forgives? Let's see. Layli said no. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me try to read it. Layli said no. Allah never forgives a person who commits suicide because he or she lost hope and gave up his life. The Prophet said anyone who commits the crime of suicide will be deprived of the mercy of Allah and will never enter paradise. Exactly. That hadith is so clear. And I don't understand why people want to, that hadith is Bukhari and Muslim. Come on, you can't get no clearer than that. But people still want to debate it. Also, let's see. Leon said Allah will never forgive suicide because it is a sin of disbelief. And anyone who takes their own life will be in hellfire forever. This is a person, wait a minute, who lost hope in Allah and did not believe that Allah would give him a way out. The prophet said, whoever uses a weapon to take his own life will use that weapon to stab himself over and over in the hellfire. Good job. Aisha said, no. Allah says, do not take life which Allah made sacred other than in the course of justice. This person will be in the hellfire forever. Even Allah says it. Even Allah says in the Quran that it's a sin that which is damned to the hellfire forever. But unfortunately, we got uneducated Muslims who still want to debate this. They don't want to let go of the fact that you can't put a bomb on and blow yourself up. The Prophet's companions fought many wars. They did not put on swords and stab themselves in the heart when they ran out on the battlefield. They did not lay down on the road and let camels kill them. I mean, come on, people. Stop trying to justify the crazy, ridiculous things that we do. Awa said Allah does not forgive it because the person lost hope. She used the same verse from the Quran. Also, the Prophet said, whoever throws himself down from a rock and kills himself would be thrown into the hellfire. Whoever drinks poison and kills himself will drink the poison forever in the hellfire. And whoever kills himself with a weapon will keep on stabbing himself with that weapon forever. The Prophet says forever, forever. So you put a bomb on and blow yourself up. You're going to be blowing yourself up in that hellfire forever. You think you waking up to a million virgins. You waking up to a million goblins poking you back in that hellfire. Subhanallah. Good job, Brother Tariq. Let me see what Tariq wrote again. Tariq said, the Prophet said there was once a man who was wounded. His pain troubled him so much that he cut his wrist to bleed to death. And Allah said, my servant hurried his life, therefore he is deprived of paradise. Again, so that shows we never lose hope. I don't care if you're going through pain. Remember, the Prophet said, never wish for death. You can't even wish for it. He said, just say, oh Allah, keep me living as long as living is better for me. Take my life only if death is best for me. So again, you listen to these crazy fanatical Muslims out there, tell you to go kill yourself in the name of Allah and all this stuff. Anything you do in the name of Allah that's bad is not accepted. If you do something in the name of Allah and it's haram, it ain't accepted. Just because you mention Allah's name don't make it lawful. If I smoke marijuana, but before I smoke it, I say, Bismillah, then smoke it, that don't make it lawful. If I take a knife and say Bismillah and cut my head off, that's not lawful either. If it's haram, it's haram. Saying in the name of Allah is not going to make it lawful. Does everyone understand that? And make sure you explain that to your children. Because again, we're living in the days of trial and tribulation. And many of our children are told that nonsense and they end up, caught up in somebody's war and they end up on the news dead with their bodies smashed in pieces all over the place because they were stupid and blew themselves up thinking they waking up to paradise. So make sure you explain that to your children. Okay, let's look at the last question here. Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah. Why would people call me when I'm teaching a class? Hold on for 1 second, guys. All right, can everybody hear me still? I'm sorry about that. People always call when they know I'm doing my class. Okay, everybody can still hear me, right? Okay, let me log back on. I had to log out of Facebook. Give me a second to log back on it. Did the video stop on Facebook, guys? Just let me know before I start to move on to the class. Anybody here, did it stop? It shouldn't pause. Did it stop? That means that's a problem with Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna restart it on Facebook. So hold up. I'm glad that my granddaughter did call. Okay, let me stop the recording.